Hello, Isaac.
Howdy, Ryan. Oh, look at I get the major. Oh, never mind.
No. And then we're switched sides now.
Oh,
There we go.
feeling kind of nauseous.
Yeah, that's sorry, man. So you had technical difficulties on your end getting home,
Yeah.
and then I was out in the backyard, and then you were like, "No, I'm ready to go," and I was like, "Oh no!" So struggling
Yeah,
here.
it's a live show, you know,
Yeah, that's what happens.
and we got
Hello.
a guest maybe when he
Yeah, so we do have a guest. He's
he'll
coming eventually.
he'll
So
pop in.
yeah, so we're going to talk about like sorting cardboard chits while he's
No,
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 okay, we're
what?
not doing that.
No, what? Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome
It,
back.
yeah,
So it's been a couple weeks. The last episode we did was actually the our draft episode,
correct. Yes,
which
it's
feels
been.
like 100 years ago.
Oh, I misnumbered these then, because that would have
Isn't
been
that the
episode
last one?
66. Yeah, you're right, because we did Derek with dexterity, and then
Mm-hmm.
um, we did the draft. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna fix
yeah.
that. So this is episode 67.
67. We're climbing. We're getting
Lucky
up there.
67.
Lucky 67. Everybody's always wanting to be number 67 in line. So.
All right, I fixed that.
Very cool.
Well, we can talk about what we're talking about before we get our
yeah, and we can just catch up. Like it's not like
100%.
anybody's watching, you know.
Let me look at the comments.
A couple people are watching. So what have you been up to for the past 3 to 4 weeks?
Oh, there's a great comment.
There we go.
What have I been up to? We are fast approaching my son's had his last day of high school on Friday. So we are done with high schoolers. He's got like senior breakfasts and rehearsals and stuff this week. But that's it. Yeah, I'm wearing my
Wise Wizard shirt.
My Wise
Very
Wizard
nice.
shirt. My work shirt for cons.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've played some games, had some friends together. We got together for our friend Becky and Sydney's share same birthday, so we had a big game day. And our good friend Jacob, who's back in town.
Jacob, I love Jacob.
Yeah, so Jake came over, played some games, and got to spend some time with him. And this is for those that don't know, for people who are in other countries doing mission work, sometimes they have a year where they have to kind of hit the reset button and go back to where they're from. And he was here 4 years ago, and he's here again. And I actually have 3 gaming friends that are on this rotation of who are in Germany and come back and hang out with us. So it's awesome. Kind of cool to see. So yeah. How about yourself, sir? I know you've had some adventures here recently.
Yeah. Well. So we went on a cruise. We actually just got back last night, and so family really enjoyed themselves. We did some fun stuff. We went snorkeling in Mexico, and it was really fun. Like I think our oldest daughter was hesitant about the whole snorkeling situation. She's not a big fan of large bodies of water.
Same.
But she really dug it. She actually probably enjoyed it the most. And so that was really cool. So
where in Mexico were you?
Cozumel.
Okay. Very nice. It was a cruise, you said, right?
Yeah, cruise. So it's funny because like on cruises, it's kind of like all the downtime is filled with board games. So on the cruise, let me see what the hits were this time. Marvel Remix got played a lot.
Super
this
good.
Cruise. Played a lot of Marvel Remix, and then Wine Cellar. Wine Cellar was another big one. So
it's a great game.
So good.
Yeah, we actually easy to travel.
Yeah, I'm gonna be writing a blog, kind of an opinion piece over the next couple of days about the games that were on the cruise. Matt, welcome to the show. Yes.
Yo.
But I'm going to be writing an opinion piece on why the classics kind of permeate every area of board gaming, even though we don't want that sometimes. It's like the ship had 4 copies of Sorry, 2 copies of Guess Who, 4 or 5 copies of Scrabble, and the rest was Monopoly. So
I mean, all those make sense.
Yeah. And there was not a single hobby game anywhere to be found. And so
not even like adjacent, like a Catan or Ticket to Ride or nothing
Nope.
like that.
So, got some Wine Cellar better than Skyrise. I have not played Skyrise, but I keep seeing pictures. So
we're not going to have that conversation.
Oh.
Skyrise is a good game.
Okay. This conversation's been happening already. So
yeah.
So yeah, the cruise was really fun. We actually met somebody who created a board game on the cruise. They were walking past and they saw a game that was not one of those classic games, and they were like, "Are you guys board game people?"
Drew their eyes in, right?
Yeah, and so they end up telling us about a game that they had on Kickstarter and funded last year.
Wow.
So,
what was it, out of curiosity?
I'm not going to say the name because I'll butcher it. It's Caveman something, and I'm trying to remember what it was. So
I was curious if it sounded
I had
familiar.
not heard of it or seen it, but shout out to that married couple, which you'll probably hear from later on. So
very cool.
Awesome. So what are we talking about after our travels?
So today we're going to be talking about scenic games that take place in locations that are beautiful. They might be real, they might be imaginary, they might be places you've been, places you've never been, places you'd like to go. Oh shoot, I forgot to grab one.
My list kind of hobbled together. But yeah.
I've got a good list. But yeah, so locations as not even necessarily as themes, but as as part of the game. Yeah, as part of the game, right? Yeah. And like I will be very honest, theme, and I banged this drum when I first started really getting into hobby games, was that theme was not the part I cared the most about. That slap a theme on, as long as gameplay is fun, I'll enjoy it. And the more we've gotten into games, the more games you play, the more I'm like, no, I kind of want the theme to be good. Like, I want it to be something I enjoy. I want to be in it, and theme can turn me off, right? Based off. Yeah. And there's some things, and I'll be very honest, I love science fiction. I love all of that world, but I like certain types of science fiction. I love superhero stuff more than I like space politics. So there's some space politic series and TV shows and themes that just don't do it for me. Okay. And that can turn me off to a game just from that.
Interesting. I love theme so much that like it, even if it's a loosely based theme, I really, really enjoy it when the theme is strong, you know? Yeah. So when it takes you to a place like a good example from this past year was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There were 2 Texas Chainsaw Massacre games that came out last year. And it was so interesting because both of them completely did something different. One of them was like, yes, it's the Texas Chainsaw IP, and it like you'll notice some things about it, but it feels like a video game. Yeah. The other one was, this is the very first movie. If you watch the movie, you know this. And I really enjoyed it because it took me back to originally watching the Texas Chainsaw movie from 76, 76, whenever it was. So
1876.
Actually, yes. Old sport guy. We talk about French Quarter. Actually, yes. So he's guessing.
Bob, we have a guest.
Yeah.
We currently have Bob on the show on your computer there.
Is it just you two today? No, we have a guest who is not here yet.
He'll be here shortly. You know what? We should start on the first question or two, and we can let him catch up. Yeah, that might be a good way to do it.
Absolutely.
So opening question, Ryan. You kind of already talked about this, but where was the last trip you took out of state?
Yeah, went to Cozumel, Mexico, and went to Belize and Honduras, and it was a really, really good time with the family. And so quality time. I think the thing that I like about cruises, it's the all-inclusiveness, because you don't have to decide what does everybody want to eat tonight, or where are we going to go? Do we have enough money? And the other thing is no cell phones. We don't buy the internet package, so whatever mobile games you got, that's what you got. So,
you don't have good signals out there? In the middle of the ocean?
Yeah, no. Nobody. One of our kids was like, "Oh, look, it found our location," and I was like, "That's a tad bit scary."
So how would I play Marvel Snap? I don't like that.
Yeah, you would not play Marvel Snap.
Yeah, I might have to cancel my cruise this fall.
That's unfortunate.
I love Marvel Snap. It's an addiction for me.
I fell off Sorry.
I mean, it's my CCG. We've talked about
Yeah.
this in our CCG chat, which we need to do a CCG
Yep.
show. But it's my CCG. It's what I love to theorycraft with right now.
Yep.
So my most recent been somewhere else is I am about 2 months removed from a trip we took up near Lake Michigan. With there was 17 of us total. Got a big house, rented a great location, had lots of food, had lots of games. We did our dexterity decathlon thanks to the inspiration we had from, I can't remember who told us that. One of our guests told us about their dexterity decathlon they did.
It wasn't Pam.
No.
Was it?
I feel bad, but it was one of the inspirations, and we just set up a bunch of dexterity games. And if you've got teenagers, older kids, may I say, having dexterity games makes it much more likely they're going to sit down and play something with you, because it's not like I got to commit to an hour and a half. It was like, no, just commit to the next 10 minutes of Lupin Chewy. I had to play Lupin Bluey, the newest version.
Yeah, how is it?
It's cute. I mean, if you like Bluey stuff, you're gonna love it. It's real simple. But yeah, that was my most recent locale. Did we just get a message from our guest?
Yes. So he'll be here shortly. He's watching
down the fort. He's holding down the fort. Let's move to the next question, and then we'll let him catch up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're talking about games based in locations, real or imaginary. Which do you prefer? A real location or something that's, a little more fake-ish?
So I like the real locations, and I guess so. Okay, this is a weird one, because the reason why I like Horrified is because the reason why I like Horrified American Monsters is because these are like pieces of lore from different parts of the country.
Sure.
Okay, so it's set somewhere, and you could visit that place. But I really enjoy a really fleshed out like world that somebody created, like something really fun. And I've actually got a game on my list that it's more of a series that comes from a certain studio that I really just love the way they build worlds. And so,
yeah, like a good Tolkien world, a good Star Wars universe, right? Something that's.
And it's interesting you say Tolkien, because my daughter is having to read Lord of the Rings for her. She's dual enrollment, so she's taking a summer class at college for the very first time, and she's reading Lord of the Rings for the very first time. She's actually in there powering through it right now.
Have you, excuse me, have you read the Planet trilogy?
I have not.
It's another one that's a power through. It's good. I'd love to see a movie of it, but it's a good set of books from C.S. Lewis as well. All the monsters in Horrified are real. I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, you got Bigfoot, you got Chupacabra, you got the what is the Banshee,
the Bob.
So
it's a big monster. I do like a good fake location, a good like world build. But honestly, the more I've explored games that are based in real locations, I've really found it interesting to learn more about them. And as a side note, historically based games that, for example, see on my shelf over here is La Cremosa, one of my favorite games from last year, 2 years ago. And man, that I loved learning more about the history. I enjoyed Distilled and learning about that process from Paverson Games, and then their new one that's coming out, Luthier, which is going to be about the construction really of cool instruments. How cool is that, right? I don't know that stuff. But in my job, I meet a lot of people every day that I see as patients. And one of the things that really ties me into people is what they do for a living. I get excited to learn about areas that I don't really know about. Not that I need to be experts at it, but I'm like, okay, well, how did you, today, a patient has X job. How did you land that job? How do you, that's always cool. How do you do this? How did this become your career? So learning about new places that are real kind of fits into that realm for me really well.
Sure. Bob used to own a Chupacabra, so that's pretty cool.
I don't really.
Yep. Yeah, just in his apartment, just hanging out, doing things.
That's fair.
Probably on the patio.
I know she didn't answer the next question.
What is the next question? I'm so far behind today. I'm like an hour behind on everything.
What real location for a board game surprised you as the subject?
That's a tough one. Real location for a board game. Which one surprised me?
That's a tough one.
I'll come back to that. You share yours. You didn't answer it either.
I didn't, because I posed the question and then I started thinking about real locations and I couldn't think of one that I was like, Can I say one that is controversial that's on Kickstarter right now?
Sure.
There's one that takes place at the U.S. Capitol. It's on Kickstarter right now. That surprises me that somebody made a game out of that. Yeah, I don't want to give them more press than they need. But things that are a little bit like, I wouldn't necessarily want to play something comedic based on historical.
Yeah, that's true.
So I wouldn't want to play a Freedom, the Underground Railroad, that was taken in jest.
Yeah. You have to treat it with some
respect to what it is, right? And so for me, anything that takes historical stuff and tries to be kind of cute with it, or like, wink wink, that surprises me when we see those.
We've seen that where a person is like, I want to create a game, and the game is going to be based around this thing that happened to us as a society, and they make a joke of it. Not a big fan. So I don't know. I'm gonna say what surprised me. I think that I'm surprised that I like Terraforming Mars as much as I do, because it's just a big. I mean, I love Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition, but
I was gonna say which Terraforming Mars?
Yeah, Ares Expedition, but But the fact that we keep going to Mars, there are so many Mars games. I think it surprises me when we and it goes back to the space conversation we had a couple months ago of like, space is this vast unknown, so you just make it up, you know? So,
yeah, Ares is the best. I played the Terraforming Mars dice game not too long ago.
Yeah.
It was good. I like it more than regular Terraforming Mars, but it felt like dice games can be. It felt a little too like, oh well, this is what I rolled. I guess I don't really have a lot of say in my decisions here. I've got to lean into this, even though I was thinking this. And I like the card driven thing of Ares. I feel like I have more agency in my decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, so I like that a little bit more.
Yeah. Our guest has arrived, so we're going to let him in just a second. Bob says all games should be themed about space. All games. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
Hey,
what is up, Mondo Davis? How are you?
Look at this fellow.
Hello, friends.
Hello, sir.
Oh, actually, viticulture in space. Actually, viticulture in space sounds pretty cool. Like doing some Mars grapes or something.
Oh, I would drink that. Space wine.
Space wine. It's for aliens. Gotta get your alien clients. So, anyway, Mondo, you are our guest. Who is that?
I am.
Look at Bob's message there. Oh, it's Mondo. I'll stay. Oh, thank you, Bob, for staying for Mondo.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me.
ever. So, Mondo, you're a friend of the show. We've known you for a couple of years, Mondo. Thanks for coming on the show. We're going to talk about one of your games that is coming out. We'll talk about some things that you're in the mix with, and but let's talk about some real life locations and some worlds that we like to visit in board games.
Sounds great.
Yeah, we started in on finally somebody classic here. Finally.
All right, let me catch them up. First one. Last trip out of your state.
I've got to grab a game that's across the room.
Do it. Last trip out of your state that you took, Mondo.
I don't think I've left the state since Christmas.
Ooh.
Is that true?
December. Wow. So you've been 5 months in.
Yeah. We've got a 2-year-old that makes travel difficult.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, for Christmas we went up to St. Louis where my family lives, and we spent a week or two, 10 days, something like that there, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, we like to travel, but yeah, it's just, man, with the young kids, it's really it's a whole other,
It's a
it's a whole
challenge.
other thing for sure. But what
All right.
about y'all?
Fair enough. Yeah, Ryan just got back from a cruise, and he was down in Mexico for that. And mine was a trip in March. We went 17 of us to a big board game cabin retreat, rented a huge house, and played a bunch of games and hung out with our favorite people. So
Nice.
always a good time. And then, because we are talking about games based on locations or scenic games, our first question to that was, what do you prefer, a game based in a real location or a game based in more of an imaginary location?
That's a very abstract question. I've got, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that when I really love a game, specifically, it's something that like ties a theme in really well. There's got to be something about it that like matches up with whatever, in this case, the location is,
Right.
in the mechanics and in the gameplay itself. And I feel like that's a harder thing to kind of grasp if you're talking about a location that isn't real. Like, so the overthought answer to that question is life locations.
So you feel a little more anchored with a real life location.
Something, yeah, I don't know. Like as a designer, right? Like I want to make games that have that mechanical connection to their theme. And I know I've had a lot of fun designing games based around places that I've been because I'm trying to like incorporate thematic things about the place into the mechanics of the game. So I feel like that's a little harder to do when you haven't like actually experienced a place. But I don't know, maybe if it's a fictional place from like a movie that you love or a TV show or whatever, video
Something
game.
thematic. Yeah.
You could do that well. I've never had that experience as a designer, so
that's fair.
Yeah.
Our next question, and we'll start with you, sir, and roll this one around. What is the most scenic vista you've ever personally visited that you think needs a board game?
I would say, are you still with me? I think I got dropped there.
Yep.
Can you guys?
Yeah. No, we're still there.
Uh-oh. Did he get dropped?
Hello.
We hear you. I think he just froze a little bit there.
Yeah.
Oh, funky.
I think his connection is low.
He didn't get the cruise internet package.
He didn't.
Can't play Snap.
Yeah.
Well,
Can't play Snap without the cruise.
I probably got time for a quick game of Snap.
So, oh my goodness. I will say that, like when I was playing Marvel Snap, it was man, I was playing a lot. So.
Can you boot him and invite him back in?
I don't know.
Frozen Mondo. Oh, that's a dessert in some countries.
I know that sounds like a really nice dessert.
Yeah, I would try it.
Yeah, that'd work.
Do you want to start, Ryan, while we're waiting for Frozen Mondo? Most scenic vista you've ever visited that you think it's a board game?
Yeah, actually, where we just recently went to Utah and visited a couple of the national parks, and what was which park was it? It was Bryce Canyon. Bryce Canyon was beautiful.
Where did you say it was at?
Bryce Canyon in Utah.
In Utah, okay.
Oh my goodness, it was like gorgeous. I think it would be interesting if somebody could make an abstract game that was about. Yeah, I know it sounds really weird, and
hey,
we got him. Mondo's back.
Hey, sorry about that.
Hey, no, that looks way clearer now.
Yeah,
I blame AT&T.
I never blame AT&T. They're actually the only ones who have a decent signal here. So
fair enough.
So okay, your question again?
Yes. So you answered it. Real location,
scenic
vista that you visited that you think needs a board game.
I think Bryce Canyon, because it was so beautiful, and I would love to see an abstract game about erosion.
Okay.
I know that sounds weird, but you think about all these canyons and all these like amazing sculptures made out of the earth. It would be pretty cool to see something. I don't know. I don't know how that would be done. Mondo,
I love it.
that's your job.
I feel like I've seen, and it might have been a prototype at a spiel or playtesting event or something, but I feel like I've seen someone try to do that before.
Okay.
With like tiles that you take away or something like that, but it's very vague.
Yeah.
But yeah, I keep it in the back pocket.
There we go.
How about yourself, Mondo? Somewhere you visited that you think needs a board game?
Well, it's funny because like most of the places that I visit that I think need a board game end up being games that I try to make.
Done.
Like Big Sur, is the one that we're pushing right now, which is absolutely a place that I loved. I lived in Monterey, California for 2 years out of high school. Hey, look at that.
Yours is up.
Special copy.
Nice. But yeah, so like I felt I've always done that. Like anytime I feel connection with a place, I like whatever my creative medium is at the time. Like that's something that I do is I try and or I take inspiration from places to take into my kind of creative process. And Big Sur was a big part of that. Another one was Sorrento or the Amalfi Coast in Italy. I would answer that question with that, but I made a game about it, so it exists.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was signed with a publisher, then it came back to me, so it will probably never be made, but exists in a very limited sense. Honestly, like those are the two coolest places I've ever been.
Awesome.
Big Sur and Sorrento. Although the Grand Canyon's awesome. Like it's certainly cliche and it's a lot but man,
do we have a Grand Canyon game?
I don't know.
I've never heard of one.
It's so weird because while we were in Bryce Canyon, I'm looking at these canyons. I'm looking at the depth of everything and how high up we are. I'm looking at them like I've never been to the Grand Canyon, but how can the Grand Canyon be bigger than this? Like I can't wrap my mind around it, and so now I have to go see the Grand Canyon. So
totally, it's I mean, it's like any place that you like. I know for us, like when we travel, there's always hype around whatever destinations are out there, right? Like I felt that way when we went to Machu Picchu, and it was like, the whole setup and the headache to get up there, and like, there's just hundreds of people, and it was just, I got to a point before we got there, I was like, this is just gonna be like, it's so hyped up, it's so
it's gonna be a letdown,
it's gonna be really lame. And I think going in with that expectation, like totally. Like it helped my experience a lot because I was just completely mind blown. Like it was gorgeous. It was just an incredible experience. And I felt it with the Grand Canyon too. Like you grow up, spend your whole life hearing about the Grand Canyon. And it's like, oh, I'm sure it's cool or whatever, but like it can't be that cool if, whatever. But no, it's like, it just blows your mind. It's like so big. Oh, it's nuts.
That's awesome. Yeah, so my location is on the island of Kauai, and that's the Napali coast, and that's the just sheer cliff sides that you see in in Jurassic Park movies and some of the things where they go out there, and they have this boat tour along the Napali coast where you kind of go in and out of lava tubes and caves. You see amazing dolphins and sea turtles, and just the amount of life that you would never see because you cannot traverse these areas anywhere from the island because they're just sheer drops, and just some type of like exploration game, that kind of takes place in the ocean, takes place on the caves, takes place a little bit in both of those would be kind of a fun thing. Oh, there you go. There's your Grand Canyon game.
I was just
Jason put there's a Grand Canyon National Parkopoly. So like
there we go.
Yeah, I think everything has a something-opoly, right?
That's all we need. So
that's perfect.
Yeah, no, I was out in Hawaii in September as well. So we went to that same spot, and yeah, that was pretty beautiful.
It's gorgeous,
nice.
Gorgeous stuff. So that brings us to our point of talking about our guests. So Mondo, can you kind of tell everybody who you are, what you do, maybe talk about your new job? It's super exciting, and talk about this game that we're hoping to highlight a little bit here. So
Yeah, sure. Well, it's a good transition talking about Grand Canyon National Parkopoly because I'm a board game developer for the Op, which is formerly USAopoly, who are responsible for most of the IP licensed versions of Monopoly in the world. So,
there's my
hey, the Op, perfect. I have zero merch yet. I've only been doing this for 6 weeks.
You have business cards though. I saw it on TikTok.
I have a ton of business cards. It's funny, they shipped Pat Marino, who is my boss and the head of Hobby Games there. They shipped him a box with both of ours in it, and it was like, I mean, it was a like a 12 by 12, like 4-6-inch box full of business cards for both of us. So I have, I mean, 1,000 probably, like way more than I'll ever need if I spend the rest of my career there. But
that's fair.
Yeah. But it's fun. It's been a cool transition. Moving in from independent design into like, full-time has been awesome. It's been really life-changing and fun and exciting. And yeah.
And this has been a dream. This is what you've been working towards, right? Yeah. I know when I first met you, you talked about this was something, I mean, this was pre-pandemic that you were putting the pieces in place towards, right? So it has not been like an overnight thing at all for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, I think most independent designers, I mean, depending on their, their career and their financial situation, I think a lot of them though have that as a dream. I mean, like to be able to do your, and it's not just game designers, right? Like to be able to do your creative hobby that you're passionate about for a living and make, enough money to support a family or, meet your needs is just kind of a dream for a lot of people. So that was absolutely true for me. And yeah, I mean, I've been designing for 8 years and really been grinding away. I don't know, like it's been a lot of work over those 8 years to kind of eke out enough or just to gain enough experience and kind of get into the room. And it's been really, I feel really fortunate and lucky to see it all kind of pay off the way it has so far. So
yeah,
that's awesome. And you have a new game coming to Kickstarter here at the end of the month. So tell us a little bit about
that. Hey, yeah. Big Sur Party. This is fun because I don't think there's that many copies in the world. So having 3 of them on the same live stream, I think is pretty unique. But yeah, no, it's called Big Sur. It's, as I mentioned, it's themed after Big Sur is an area in Central California that is about an hour south of Monterey, 2 hours south of San Francisco. But it is home to a stretch of the Pacific Coast Highway, which is one of the most scenic drives in the world. It's absolutely gorgeous. And in the game, you're actually constructing segments of that highway. So it's a hand management, resource management game where you have those cards that Ryan's showing you, and they all have street or road segments on them on one side, and then on the back they have resources like Isaac's showing. Look at this, you guys.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, I love the two-sided nature of this.
Yes.
Yeah, but so you try and build the road cards by using the resources on other cards. So you discard the cards as resources to build the stretches, and then you try to match up terrains to make like long stretches of shared terrain as you lay the cards side by side on the table. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, they nicely match up. I love the artwork. Tristan Rawson did the artwork for this one. Love the artwork on it. It's cartoony, it's fun, it's bright, it's colorful. I really like the variety of the cards because when you're thinking about how to, like, what card should you lay down? Obviously, you want the largest point card to be laid down, but that's not true for Big Sur because on the 1 mile cards, the ones that are worth the least, you've got this perpetual resource down at the bottom that gives you that resource moving forward on your future builds. And then your number 2, your mile 2 cards, those give you additional scoring criteria that you can utilize at the end of the game. So I think you guys did a great job of giving people a variety of reasons to build some of the lower point cards and make something really cool.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, you mentioned the art. I mean, I'm pleased with how the design came out. And I think the mechanics are great, and I mean they work, and I think it's a fun game to play. But then when Chad at 25th Century Games put Tristan's artwork on it, it like elevated it to something like beyond what what I would have expected. And I think that it's going to hit pretty well. I think that a lot of folks are gonna be able to find it and play it and like it because of how beautiful it is. I mean, like when he showed me the cover, I was like, holy crap.
The cover is gorgeous.
That
Amazing,
cover
right?
is just phenomenal.
And I can brag on it because I had nothing to do with any of the artwork. As Bob mentioned there, that's a great comment. Bob mentioned that he played it when it was just like my handmade prototype, which actually, I can probably show that to you. That'd be a fun little transition. Since I'm in my game space, it's all right here, but let me see. But yeah, it's, like any game, it started with just me trying to communicate the concepts as best I could without any real artistic skill, and obviously just a completely different experience with that beautiful artwork on it. I'm not seeing it immediately, so I won't take all this time, but where would it be? Okay.
So
we're summoning the Chad.
Yeah, I figured I'd just summon him. So Tristram is becoming, because I saw his name on the cover and I'm like, okay, I know this. I've seen this name more, right? And so art in games like stands out to me when it's consistent, right? And I'm like, and somebody said when we played this, I think it might have been Hank, might have been Jason. I taught it to these guys. Somebody said this looks like Longboard, or reminded them of Longboard, and I was like, oh yeah, Tristram did the art for Longboard. And as I went down the list, I'm like, oh, he did Tranquility, which was a gorgeous game. What
is the Pebble?
Pebble Rock,
Pebble Rock.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a game that I will love, a big meaty game. We'll talk about what I'm playing, and I'll play it 3 or 4 times in a year. But this is a game I'm going to play 30 times this year, 40 times this year, right? Because I'm going to take this to dinner, and we're going to get it in before we get the dinner and drinks, and everybody's going to love it because it's a 5-minute teach.
Yep.
Like, this sits in a window where like this will get played. And I love it. Like, I mean, Chad sent me the 4 that are coming. I'm not going to be biased because you're sitting here, Mondo, but this was by far my favorite. I really, really enjoyed the rhythm of this game and how easy and quick it is to play.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
This was the second one to hit the table. We've been doing a Thursday night game night at Bites and Brews, which is a local barcade that has been around just under a year here. And so we're out there every Thursday night, and this was the second game to hit the table, and people were just like, this is really good. And they were like, where can I get a copy? I was like, well, next year. So it's and I took it on the cruise with us when the kids ran off and went to the pool or got ice cream for their 7,000th time. Big Sur hit the table when it was just me and Aaron, so
yeah. Well, that's encouraging. I'm glad y'all like it.
Yeah.
I definitely think there's a market, there's an audience for it. So that's always exciting as a designer. And especially when that audience finds it. Like, I feel like our pre-launch numbers are good, and I'm hearing a lot of buzz and a lot of hype kind of being slowly built up. So it's exciting on my end for sure. And I appreciate you guys pumping it. Yeah.
In the comments, you'll see a link to the Kickstarter. It goes on the 28th of this month. So it's Big Sur, Grand Central Skyport, Wine Cellar, and Sand Art.
It's a great deal picking up off one of those games. Chad's got a crazy price for him coming.
It's gonna be amazing. So
awesome. Well, hey, let's get to. Do you want to throw up the graphic?
Yeah.
Do you have it? This is the game chat.
Do you know what's so bad? I'm always like, when you mention, do you have a graphic for this? I'm like, I don't have time to make a graphic. Do you know what I did today? I made a logo for my birthday.
Oh, for your birthday?
Yeah. So,
that's crazy. Bob, can you make us a graphic? It's just Ryan and I's faces like merged into one.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the Game Chat presents Pick 5. Yep. This is not so this is Pick 5 scenic locations for games. So this is not the top 5 or the best 5 or the only 5 you should play. These are just 5 games that of the 3 of us are going to give you 5 each that we're like, this game's got some cool scenic locations. It's got, whether they're real, whether they're not. I kind of leaned more towards real. I don't know where you guys ended up, but
I will lean real.
Yeah, scenic locations. So as always, we'll start with our guest, Mondo. If you want to name one of, if you have them, you can show them. If not, just name what it is and kind of why it's a good scenic locale.
Yeah, I don't have. I mean, I don't have them to show you with me, but they are behind me. Most of them.
Perfect.
Santorini, number one.
Yeah,
I think the aesthetic of that place encapsulated in the game is just like brilliant. That's a game I wish I designed, and it's like a really fun, smart game. So
it is.
I love it.
Santorini's number one. It's one of the first games I ever loved, maybe owned. Okay. I forget, but yeah.
My wife and son love playing that 2-player head-to-head.
I do a lot of playing with new gamers, like trying to get people into gaming, and that's always one that's like on the list of games that I can pull out and teach in 5 minutes and have people enjoy it on their first play, and that's always like
sure.
That's one that my son taught a lot of his teenage friends early on. So. So I thought, because Phil in the comments said it already, I went with French Quarter. This is from Motor City Gameworks and 25th Century Games helping publish. French Quarter, the reason why I picked this one is that I've been to New Orleans 3 times, I think. And this game surprisingly feels like the city. The things that you're doing, the pace of the game is like casual but exciting. You know, it's really interesting. The first time I played this, I was like, man, they captured a lot of things in this game that feel iconic about New Orleans, you know? And so French Quarter is on that list because of the feel, because it feels like the city, not necessarily because of the artwork.
Why do you keep saying New Orleans? It says France on it.
Okay.
Nothing? Wow. Nothing. My first one is Yosemite. Speaking of national parks, Yosemite from our friends over at WizKids, a more recent WizKids game, which makes it a good game. This is a 2-player tile strategy game. I'm not shy about how I feel about that. This is a beautiful game. Art by Beth Sobel.
Yeah.
2-player push and pull. It is a fun little exploration of the park. It does kind of remind me of like a Seven Wonders duel, or if you've played Seaside, which is the Flotilla 2-player game, where it's just got a good little push and pull. Nice. What are you going to do? What am I going to do? And are we going to, if you lean too far into the left, I'm going to lean in the center and get you, right? So
that's cool.
Yosemite is basically the only park game I could think of.
I haven't seen that one at all. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Heard of it, but I haven't played it. But
number 2.
Number 2, also behind me, Santa Monica. Have you guys played Santa Monica?
I love Santa Monica.
I have not.
It's a game that is
so good.
So good, but also like the game like a game that I loved that probably the fewest people give me any kind of response to. It's like, oh
no,
being familiar with it.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's like really cool. And I think, what stands out about it, and it has a very like, it's card laying adjacency on the cards on the table. So it's got some similarities like Big Sur or other games do certain things that are similar, but the arc is just so unique. Like,
yeah,
I don't know the story of Jeremy Wynn, but he did, like, I don't know if he is an illustrator in another field, because a lot of times publishers will do that. They'll pull an illustrator that's like a comic book illustrator or a children's book illustrator, and then come in with a different style that will end up making the game look really different and really unique. And I don't know if that's his story, but I do know that this artwork is like some of the coolest, most fun artwork I've ever played.
You know what it feels like? It feels like Where's Waldo? Where's Waldo book, the way that the illustrations are just kind of sitting on top of the background, and like the skate shop has a really unique style and the ice cream shop has a really unique style. It's really cool.
That's true. Yeah.
This
it reminds me of like like BoJack Horseman or like one of those
Yes.
grown-up cartoons on Netflix or something. But
It's funny because that was me and my wife's pandemic game.
oh yeah,
really?
Yeah. So we went to our local game shop, and everybody's masked up, and we're walking through the shop, and we're like, okay, we're gonna buy something and try something new, and that was it. We picked it up, we sat down, we learned it. We played it twice the first day, played it the next day, played it the next day, and we just kept playing it. And it plays so well at 2 players. It plays well at 4 players. You're building this tableau. The boardwalk and the ocean are coming together. It's so much fun. So,
yeah.
Do you lose a lot to Aaron at that also?
a lot. Yeah. So I lose a lot of games to Aaron. So
that's one of the few games that I've ever bought just like not knowing anything about it and just loving the way that it looks.
Same here.
I'm almost always like, I won't buy a game unless I've played it and know that I like it.
That, the Bloody Inn, Harmonies, those are the ones that I've bought.
Paper sumo wrestling.
That was a gift.
That was a gift. That's right.
So that was a gift. For mine, there we go. Everybody thinks Mondo's super classy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Mm.
My second pick is going to be Parks. This is the Kickstarter version.
Ooh, look at that. That's
Is your sleeve still? Is it still intact?
Oh yeah, man.
Mine's just totally trashed. Not just from taking it in and out. I feel like or putting it on the shelf. Like the wear on that thing has just completely.
Really?
destroyed.
No, mine's pretty good shape. So, but Parks is a fantastic game. I love the beautiful artwork of all the different parks that are in this game, and it's so cool because we take our Parks cards anytime we go somewhere. We go to a national park, and we take our Parks card just to have Aaron take a photo in front of some piece of the park. I love Parks.
Done that as well.
So This is probably Aaron's top 3. So those games.
Number 2 for me, Jason just mentioned, is Barcelona.
Yeah.
From Board and Dice. Love this game. Moved into my number 1 slot, I believe, for last year. 1 or 2, I have to remember. But this is a super solid game. Love it. Does what Nova Roma does, where you've got the column and row action selection, which I absolutely love. Barcelona, great game.
Yeah.
Chad, you never avoid this show. You're here all the time.
Oh, got him.
There we go.
Hey, Shannon, how's it going?
He's looking to see what his $1 a week sponsorship is. He sends us a $1 check every week just so we say 25th Century.
I know we don't even have the hats today.
We don't have them this week. So
it's paper check.
$1.
A $1 paper check.
Yeah, 68 cent stamp to get it there.
That's how Chad rolls. So
you mentioned the merch, 25th Century merch. I have gotten not in trouble, but kind of like frowned on because I wear my 25th Century hat. Like I work from home, right? And we do video meetings for the op every day. And the first couple weeks, like without thinking about it, I just had my 25th Century hat on. Someone pulled me aside. Was like, "Hey, we got to get you some the op merch."
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
you just got to keep wearing. You got to keep wearing your other publisher merch until they outfit you.
Yeah, get them an Invincible hat.
So I'm wearing my Invincible hat. Some other publisher will be like, "Let's swap that thing out."
I'm going to derail the conversation here because I found out something today that's really interesting. Have you guys heard anything about the non-compete laws at the FTC?
No.
Okay, so the Federal Trade Commission.
Hold it. I have a graphic for this. Business time.
Okay. Well, it relates. I promise. Because the FTC is making it illegal for non-compete clauses to exist in American business.
I did hear about that. Yeah,
which is really interesting from a design perspective because there's a lot of restrictions on people that work for board game companies to work for other board game companies.
Yeah,
because of those non-compete clauses. Myself being one of them. I found out that today, and I was fascinated about the implications in the industry. I don't know.
That is very interesting. We were talking about that from the law enforcement side with somebody last week. Actually, we were talking about the fact that our local sheriff's department is not allowed to leave the sheriff's department and go to the police department, even though they pay more. And so, but we were like, hold on, that new clause,
Yeah. Sorry. That's not what we're talking about, though. But
that's yeah. But what we are talking about, Cody, we are talking about Scenic board games that are set in real places or fake places, things that
because we're talking about Big Sur coming to
talking
Kickstarter.
about Big Sur.
Yep.
So, what's your number 2 over there, Isaac?
That was Barcelona.
Barcelona. That's right. So we're back to Mondo. Number 3.
Number 3.
My number 3, I wrote them all down, but I don't have it in front of me, was Carcassonne. It was Carcassonne.
Oh, yeah.
Great choice.
Which is a game that I didn't know that Carcassonne was a place.
Me neither.
Until
years after you played it. Yeah.
It was one of the first hobby games I played, and it was like before I was ready, and I hated it. It was like I was very confused. I was that guy that was like, this is complicated.
Yeah.
About Carcassonne.
Why are there so many rules?
Yeah, like scoring. Couldn't keep track of all the scoring and all that, but Carcassonne.
Yeah, that was a first 3 for me. That was in there for sure.
Yeah.
Carcassonne was the one that I didn't play for years because I was supposed to play it, but it's kind of like I've never seen Schindler's List. At this point, I'm avoiding Schindler's List because I haven't seen it.
That's a unique thing about you.
Yeah. I'm running away from it.
Fun fact about Ryan.
Yeah. What about you and Unmatched? How's that working out? Anyway,
what's that?
Shikoku. Shut your mouth. Shikoku is my number 3. Shikoku is an island in Japan, and this game is really it's really unique because you're trying to practice moderation as you climb the steps to the temple in this on this island, and it's really, really cool. Like the art style and the design of it, it's unique. Grand Gamers Guild published it here in the US, but it's really unique. And whether you're playing at 3 players or at 8 players, it plays really well, and it's unlike a lot of games in my collection. And Shikoku is a real place.
Super solid. Becky and Jason introduced that one to us, and
really?
It plays great at 8.
It does.
At 8. I didn't even think about Agueda. That's another good.
Agueda was on my list, but I didn't have the box. I don't own it. So
I will sneak this into every list that we ever do. I will, because it's one of my favorite games of all time.
Come on, man. That's not a real place.
Mars is a real place.
No, it isn't. You're a liar.
I am on Mars. This is a real place. These are.
Have you ever been there? Have you ever been there?
Have you ever been?
I just terraformed it earlier today.
Yeah,
so.
There we go.
See, on Mars. It's heavy. It's big. It's literally heavy. It's figuratively heavy. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's a real place. I've said enough about that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Chad.
I need to come clean that I didn't actually terraform Mars today. I failed. So.
I tried to terraform. At least you gave it an attempt.
The attempt was there.
You're doing better than us.
Number 4.
Also behind me is La Boca. Have you guys played La Boca?
La Boca, I have not. I've seen it.
So La Boca is a neighborhood in Argentina. I think it's in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I can't get it out because it's stuck, but it's a board game. It's a stacking game where you're stacking blocks with a partner, and like other games do something kind of similar, but you have a card and you're trying to match the card with your blocks, while the person on the other side is trying to match their card with their blocks. So it's a race to do it as quickly as you can. It's really puzzly fun kind of borderline like party game that
that's cool.
It's just like it's one of my favorite like dexterity kind of puzzly games.
Cosmos game.
Yeah, it's out of print now, but my copy is Z-Man, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure who else printed it along the way. But
interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Cody with Black Orchestra has real pictures. That's true. Black Orchestra is real life events trying to assassinate Hitler, and that was a cooperative game that years ago I was like, it was hard to get a copy of it. It was out of print, and I really wanted a copy. And so,
hey, look what your dollar bought you, Ryan.
What now? Oh, look at that.
Copy
Yeah.
headed your way.
Chad Elkins, the game. I almost said Game Fairy, but game. The game.
Wow.
Jeez, I can't. Thank you, Chad.
Game Angel.
Game Angel. He's a game angel. Ryan, you have a copy out of your way. You should repeat this theme next week, then include it. We'll repeat this next week.
I don't think we'll be doing that.
So,
but thank you as always. Number 4.
My number 4, Juckmuck.
That is really good.
In Sweden. This is from WizKids. Again, another newer WizKids game, which means it's good. So this is a real place in Sweden, and is a place where a winter market is held every year. I think it used to be, I think I was reading up on the history on the winter market, and the winter market used to be held for 2 weeks, I think, originally, and now it's been stripped down to 4 days, but I think 4 days now. But it's still just a cultural icon of this city and that region. And so I really like the art style and the Swedish influence. It's
gorgeous.
Such a fun game. So,
different every time you play.
Yes.
Sorry, I got so many. I have so many that I can't narrow down.
Yeah,
how about the Earth? Earth is a real place.
Earth's a real place.
So
heard of it.
And again,
people.
And scenic wise, this game, the cards are gorgeous.
Very pretty.
It's another game I just enjoy looking at the cards, kind of like Arc Nova behind me over here. Just very well. And I'm a big give me as many cards as you can and let me figure out what I'm doing type of game style. And it's perfect for that.
Yep.
Finally, number 5.
It was Sagrada.
Oh,
which is on the Barcelona team, but one of my all-time favorites. Actually, working with the op, like I'm often asked now what type of game we're looking for, and that's my response. We're looking for Sagrada.
Yeah, Sagrada's beautiful. So
yeah, I mean, easy rules, like
again,
like low barrier to entry, but like a ton of depth to it. And
love it so much.
Good. My last game on the list is actually going to be a fictional place, and it's going to be basically anything Ryan Lockett does. Red Raven Games. I feel like he creates these really cool immersive worlds that have a style to them, no matter what Red Raven game it is. And so I put Above and Below on here just because I really enjoy the scenery and the vistas and the people and the things that you do in the world, whether it's Near and Far or Above and Below or Sleeping Gods or anything that Red Raven does. Really good
stuff.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got to chat with Ryan and Mallory and at PAX Unplugged, and they're wonderful folks.
They really are.
Yeah.
My 5th one is from a company called Sidekick Games, but they partnered up with the Op to put out Aqua.
Yes.
Aqua is great. This is a tile laying similar in the vein of a Cascadia or what's the cat one, Calico type of thing, but it's open so you're not crunched in, which I really love. I love the art on this. I love the style of gameplay. I love the goals and scoring mechanisms change each time you play, which I absolutely love in a game. It's gorgeous. It's under the sea.
You can adjust it to whoever's playing. You can make it easier. You can make it harder. You can make it really complex. Like your brain hurts while you're scoring.
I love it.
It's so cool. So
it's been a fun one. We got some content coming on that real soon. Nice. So
that's awesome.
That's our top 5, pick 5 games from the game chat. And
so finally,
we like to finish with what you've been playing. What's been hitting your table?
So it's shifted over the last 6 weeks because I'm developing full time now. So most of my game time is playing. And developing really. I mean, we've got several games that we're trying to get lined up for 2025. So that's been obviously stuff I can't talk about, but stuff that is really exciting from like people
awesome.
But
when you do want to talk about it, you'll come back on the game chat.
Absolutely. Okay,
there we go.
But I'm also been, honestly, like I play a lot of Terraforming Mars and I play a lot of Azul. I haven't really been playing a lot of new games. I haven't had like a lot of good time to try and learn new things. But I have had a lot of time to like, get on BGA and kind of just play the stuff that I know and love over and over again. So that's been my last month and a half at least.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nothing wrong
Right.
with it.
I love the commentary here. Ryan includes made-up cities. Isaac includes water. The whole topic has gone off the rails.
Off the rails, sir.
Off the rails, sir. Speaking of rails, here's a word that I can't pronounce. One of my favorites, 1769 to 1890, real map of the coal track dice game where the dice go down the river and lose value. Very interesting. From Thomas Spitzer.
Interesting.
I don't know that one. Cody bringing those deep cuts.
I don't know a lot of those words.
Deep cuts.
Deep cut Cody. That's the name now. I'm playing a lot of Harmonies, man. This is a really good game. I bought Harmonies. We were in Utah traveling a little bit, and I saw this on a store shelf. Shout out to Game Night Games in Utah. They are a fantastic store. If you're in Utah, Game Night Games, go visit them. Spend some money over there. Very cool people. Harmonies is really good. Some people are saying it's like Cascadia and Azul had a baby. I don't know. I did not like Cascadia. I still don't like Cascadia. I think that there are much better games. Harmonies is really, really good for exactly what it is. So
it's awesome.
And yeah, Chad's saying, why wasn't it on your list? This is a real place. The lion in Africa is in a real place. Yes.
And it's believed like a real lion.
It's a real lion. Do you see? That's circles.
Those blue lions, yeah.
So lions.
Circles. So.
I've been playing some 25th century games. So like
I've
been playing Big Sur.
Big Sur.
Yeah.
I've been playing Wine Cellar.
Wine Cellar so much.
And I want to take a minute to talk about the one that Bob said wrecked his brain.
Yes.
When he played it. Sand art is unique. It's weird, and I don't mean weird in a bad way, but you're collecting sand, you're pouring sand, and the way you draw it in on these bottles is it's all pencil, drawn, sketch. There's a mechanic of like the way the gravity falls and the way the sand can sit in a certain place but not in another place, and I loved it. It was definitely a brain burny kind of game. Of the ones we tried from this group, it was definitely more of a like, oh man, there's a lot going on in this game. So
that's the only one I haven't played yet. I've played Grand Central Station, Grand Central Skyport.
I gotta play
multiple times. I've played Big Sur 100 times, Wine Cellar 100 times, but I have not played.
So yeah, that's the next one on the list for me is Grand Support. Skyport. Yeah, I gotta try that one. But yeah, great stuff. Super excited to get them to the table and tell my friends they can't play them for a year.
There we go. It's always fun when it's always fun when people are like, man, I got to get this game. Do they sell it at your local store? No, it'll be out next year.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Yeah. So
yeah, Rubber Band Rondell. I like it.
Rubber Band Rondell. Okay.
It's one of my favorite 70s disco songs.
That's right. That was actually my nickname in high school.
Oh boy. As always, we finish with where can we find you? Mondo, where can people find you online?
Where can they not find me online?
You're everywhere, man.
No, I post a lot on TikTok and Instagram. The handle is Games by Mondo. All one word. That's the best bet. I will be at a convention or two in the future, but now it's up to whether or not my company wants to send me. And Gen Con is not happening, so I won't be at Gen Con, but I'm still holding out for PAX Unplugged. I'll get a free trip to PAX Unplugged. Origins, no, the op doesn't go to Origins.
Yeah, haven't been there in a few years.
But honestly, if I
was there last year.
Okay, yeah, perhaps.
Were they? Yeah. But maybe PAX Unplugged.
Yeah, PAX Unplugged is like I think if they don't send me, I'll probably pay my own way, and like I don't want to miss PAX Unplugged.
Yeah,
that's cool. My favorite convention.
Yeah, same. But that's where you can find me.
Nice.
or on TV if you are a game show
Yeah.
aficionado
Or on
like I am.
Hulu. Yeah, it's worth mentioning too. Why not? I was on. If you're interested in
It's Jack
trivia
put it out
game
there.
shows, The Floor is a show
Floor.
that was
Yep.
aired on
You
Fox.
can find it on Hulu.
Yeah, you can, and
Yeah.
I'm in it. But actually they're casting right now, so they
Ooh.
put it out to all the contestants to like post about the auditions. So if anybody wants to be on The Floor, now's the time.
Ryan?
There we go. One Board Family, all over the place, oneboardfamily.com. You read our review of Scare B&B, which is a little micro game for families. A little bit memory, a little bit guessing. Really cool artwork. You can also find a full rundown of Big Sur. We did a preview for that along with Wine Cellar. And just follow us all over the place to see what we're playing.
Awesome. Yeah, you can find us at Gaming with Sidekicks on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, MySpace, ICQ. Any of those opportunities, you can find all of our stuff. Written emails, maybe as well. We have a review for.
There's one from him right now.
We have a review for World Wonders and the new Mondo expansion. Mondo, is it Mondo or Mondo? I think it's. I can't remember how it's pronounced.
This one.
New World. No, for World Wonders.
Do you just collect games with your name on it?
I have 3.
There we go.
That's amazing.
Two of them are like this is the small version of a bigger game called Mondo. But
okay,
I would have Binding of Isaac, and I don't really have interest in.
There's no Ryan
playing that.
Games.
Yeah. So reviews via postcards. Yep, we'll be getting those out real soon. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. We also got some cool stuff from Game Toppers that we'll be showing off. We just showed off, and so got some cool content coming down the line. I have around me so many review games is ridiculous.
Yeah,
right now. 'Tis the season.
That's right. Con season's coming up. You can find myself and Isaac over at Origins coming up next month. So,
yes, sir.
Yep. So, find us at Origins. Come shake our hands. Come say hey. Let's take a photo or something. So,
shout out to my dad who's in the chat. Hi, Dad.
Yes.
Oh, hey,
Dad is in the chat. Let me get back to that. There we go.
Hey, there we go.
Mondo's dad.
Mondo's dad.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks again,
sir. He was in the
sir.
chat a couple of weeks ago too.
Was he? Oh, that's.
I thought so. I don't know.
He's the most supportive dad in the world. So
that is so awesome. That is so cool.
I love it.
Awesome. Go out and support your kids, people.
Yes. Thanks again for joining us, sir. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Mondo.
Yeah, of course. It's fun. Appreciate you guys. Sorry for being late, but thanks for.
No, you're good. Have a great week, man. See ya.
Take care, guys.
So long.